Okay, Wednesday, 17th of December 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know, using maths, Fermi estimation, and Instagram to find true love. Now, about a year and a half, two and a half years or so ago, I did a bit of a controversial video on Tinder and an interesting way of using that. But as of late, I had an interesting idea as well to kind of expand on that and be a little more strategical with regards to using Instagram and essentially finding love colloquially. Let's keep it nice and simple. And the idea is to create a system that builds rapport and inadvertently a parasocial relationship with women as they see your profile, your Instagram feed, all these pictures and videos and highlights. They consume your content, so 10, 11 touch points, pictures, videos, etc. They get to know, like, and trust you. Know, like, and trust, very important. They build rapport by consuming your content, and it's meaningful content to them that reflects their values or reflects them in some fashion, meaning it matters to them. It's not something obscure and distant and unrelated. So that's interesting. So the maths behind it is actually quite straightforward, but also at the same time it's law of averages. With regards to we're talking high churn, lot of numbers, again, scalable system, and combined with, say, socializing skills and text game and language skills, it goes from cold leads, usual sales funnel really, cold leads into relationship, goals in some fashion, connection, inertia, things like that. So let's get a working example. So let's take New York City. New York City, and let's say the population is 1 million, to keep the math simple, 1 million people. So, and this is the Fermi estimation that comes into it. So you'd say, right, 1 million people, 50% men, 50% women. So 500,000 women. Okay, right, 500,000 women, and then you would divide that by different age ranges. So let's take 10% of that. No, 100,000, so 20% at 100,000 aged 20 to 30. Very nice. And then you say, right, that's 400,000 disregarded, 100,000 here. Very nice. And then you say, right, from all the 100,000, you'd say cut between 20 to 80%. Yeah, within reason. Let's say 50%, meaning women who red flags basically. To this, too much of that, to that, has this, has that, doesn't have that, too many of these, you name it. Red flags, things you don't like. Things that will be a deal breaker. Again, red flags. And you say, right, from that 500,000, there's roughly 100,000 that are the good age range. In that age range, there might be 100,000, there might be, say, 10,000, 50 to 10,000, something like that, 20,000, etc. That are really good, tick the critical mass of boxes with regards to a relationship or in general. And then they say, right, let's go deeper to be pessimistic to say, right, well, 1% of them is a perfect match, so to speak. Perfect by how we define it, how we quantify it. Has this, has that, doesn't do this, doesn't blah, blah, blah. And then you say something like, right, in New York City, if a population of 1 million, there's probably between 2,000 to, say, 10,000 women that are absolutely perfect. Very nice. And then you can keep going with that logic and say, right, well, what's the kilometer square footage of New York City? Oh, it's this many square meters, this many square kilometers. Then you do the calculation and say, right, well, that means that at any one moment there's 2, 3, 4, 5 women that are perfect match within a kilometer radius. That's nice and specific and nerdy. Okay. But then you say, right, based on that calculation, 1,000,000, 500,000, 100,000, 10, 20, 50,000, very nice. And then 1 to 5,000 in that vicinity, 20,000, etc. Very nice. You would then create a custom GPT to say, right, go on Instagram account, and you would then say, this custom GPT would look for, say, hashtags in different areas, different meaningful locations. So let's say Central Park. Okay. So then you say, right, Central Park, and you create different parameters in the custom GPT, like you're looking, then you would say, get KPIs basically, right? You'd say, right, hashtag Central Park, so you search it. You would then say, like 10 to 50 or so different pictures in general to get awareness and get attention out there. And then different profiles, you would vet them by different metrics. Has this woman got this red flag or that red flag? What does it say in the bio? Things like that. And you DM her. Okay, fair enough. It's on the offensive, meaning you're proactive. No, proactive is a better word. You're proactive. Okay. Look at the profile based on the picture. So, New York City, Central Park, and there's a picture of a woman with a selfie, for example, a selfie. You think, okay, let's look at her profile. That's a good sign. Look at the profile, have a quick read. Any red flags in the pictures, descriptions, videos, whatever else. Okay, good. DM her. DM her something meaningful, and you could, in that custom GPT, you could get some example DM messages based on the context of Central Park example. Something that's meaningful, not insightful, but not intrusive, not desperate, not needy, but something meaningful that sparks a conversation in some fashion, and something short, something easy, not like a wall of text, but something short and meaningful. And you wouldn't copy and paste, but you'd be inspired by that draft message that the custom GPT will give you, and you just change it slightly, the name, location, dates, times, the details, not copy and paste. It has to be unique and get a conversation going. Very nice. And then that's the text game. That's the door. There's the context. Central Park. And you say, right, get chatting, get talking back and forth, coffee, etc. Very nice. And you would then say, you would do that 10 to 20 or times a day. Again, it's proactive. But you would do it so it's the lead that you really like. This profile, your green flags, no red flags, perfect. And the idea to do it 5 to 30 or so times a day is, one, you don't want to trigger the platform spam rules and regulations. So Instagram in this context, okay. But you do want to be hitting that, remember that number we talked about, 1 to 20 or 50,000 that are perfect matches? Because you could do the reverse engineering to say, right, if I want to essentially, statistically speaking, DM one of them every day, week, month, quarter, I need to do this many DMs, cold calling, we could say, DMs, in order to statistically hit or message one of the perfect ones every time period, week, day, month, you name it. And then if you do 3 DMs a day at minimum, that's 1,000 a year. And then you say, in that 1,000, again, look at the numbers of New York City, you do 1,000, you probably hit, or DM, 1 to 5, maybe 10 of those perfect matches every year. And you don't know which one, you don't know who it's going to be. And it's down to you to vet better, in a sense of look at the profile, think, well, that red flag, green flag, you DM her. But then at the same time, find more hashtags, spend more time on it, DM more women per day. Very nice. Okay, so that's the proactive side, messaging, DMing, texting. Very nice, back and forth, communication, building rapport. But then, the other side of it is the Instagram profile itself. Pictures, videos, highlights, things that are meaningful, that you are doing indeed in your life, that shows who you are, in a sense of building rapport. And in marketing, in attraction marketing, it's the touch points. The more touch points, meaning the more content they consume, the more people know, like, and trust you. That's important, know, like, and trust. Different highlights, doing different specific things, different places, different selfies in different landmarks, things like that. So again, New York City, you have pictures on Liberty Island, Ellis Island, Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen, I guess, Central Park. These landmarks to show that you're a legit real person, selfies, pictures, you name it. Again, it's meaningful content that when people see your profile in general, meaning they inspect who you are because you DM'd them. Who is this person? They look, they consume, and they gauge. Real, fake, creep, things like that. Usual buzzwords. Oh, very nice. Oh, he's been there. Oh, he knows this. Oh, he did that video. Oh, what's this video? What's that? Oh. Let's reply. Interesting. There's some rapport building here, and there's the foot in the door here. Scalable. Ooh. And then if you dedicate a meaningful time to this, okay, you could say 40, 45 minutes a day. So you're spending 4 hours a week. There's an interesting title of a book right there, 4-hour work week. a meaningful amount of time, again, meaningful, of course, the more the merrier, but a meaningful amount of time dedicated to proactively DMing, but also at the same time having a meaningful life that you're combining it with the social media to share those unique moments or those unique places, to show that you're real, to show aspects of your personality, your character. You know, and then you can go deeper to say what kind of content converts best. Landmarks, foods, parties, places, videos, etc., etc., etc. Highlights, different places, things like that. Very nice. Okay, scalable, that's the idea. And then you start to realize, you follow this logic, and you do, 3 DMs a day, 1,000 a year, you're going to then start essentially be building up a bit of an address book, so to speak, colloquially speaking. Meaning you're going to get, say, 10% of those 1,000, so 100 dedicated followers. Okay, meaning lingering, and it's going to create that inertia. And so what's going to happen over time is by chatting and maintaining reputation, because you have to assume also that they know each other, 6 degrees separation, and or they're going to see each other's comments on the pictures and posts. You're building an address book, and through inertia, things are going to happen almost spontaneously. You post a picture here or on the reels or stories there, you're going to get messages saying, "Oh, that's nice. How cool is that? Oh, I was there. Oh, let's go. When are you in town? When are you next in Manhattan? I don't know. Things like that." You built up such rapport and such a following, and because you're expanding that following by DMing, being proactive, and you're going for that sales funnel, so to speak. 1,000 is going to convert into 100 loyal followers, so to speak, and there'll be like say 150 which are cold followers, like engage but never really message, and there'll be like 200, 300, 400 that are like on the periphery, watching content every now and then, and then the rest will just disappear for whatever reason, block, lose interest, have other relationships, you name it, life, things like that. That's quite interesting. Very scalable, very, very doable, very interesting. The thing then to consider is reputation, because you have to assume that people know everyone else. Now, you could say New York City, because it's so big. What's the population exactly? 6-8 million at least, something like that. The larger the city, the larger the base can be, meaning that 100 could easily be 1,000 women that linger. And at the same time, they might know each other. There could be some overlap, and that's reputation. That's important, because that means that it can buckle under its own weight, meaning gossip. And we have to assume that. And the way to protect it, not just hedge, but to protect against it, is always have good interactions. Oh, no gossiping, no backchatting, no replying directly or in flirtatious ways in a DM, the comments. But keeping things respectful, yes. Dignifiable. That's a better way to reframe it and to focus on making it dignified. And they could say no drama as well, so that when they do strategize behind the scenes, gossip and talking, your reputation is impeccable. That's important, very important. Because then, as I said earlier, it can buckle under its own weight, and the sheer volume can actually be the exact reason why it collapses. The old bad reputation spreads. It spreads and spreads and spreads and just collapses. Not good. So we want to protect that from day one. There's KPIs and principles and guardrails from day one to prevent that. And make it meaningful. Have these hashtags. Look for key places that are interesting. Even places you might have been to. So you have already pictures there that when you DM them, they check your profile and they know, like, and trust you. And that's the important thing as well, to be known, liked, and trusted. Very important. Rapport, very nice French word. And eventually it turns into, as I said earlier, through the inertia, an address book. Women will just message in DM, are you here, are you there, what are you doing here, when this, when that, by law of averages. There's so many of them, you're likely going to be DM'd at any one moment with an invitation or an event or a party or this and that and this and this. And especially in the high season, New Year's or Christmas or other occasions like that, summer, big parties, music festivals, you name it, you're going to get all kinds of things. It's powerful. And it's an interesting, scalable way to be well connected, which I quite like. That's really powerful, very powerful, and it's meaningful. That's the thing. The pictures and videos here have to be meaningful, and you could strategize, as I said, to know what kind are really good: food, pictures, landmarks, etc. That's important. They're both important, really. And you can go one step deeper to say the pictures and videos you post, the highlights and the general feed, has to be unique from the stories. And you can go even deeper to be a little skeptical and in terms of OPSEC security, OPSEC, operational security, to say, right, well, when you go to a venue or a place, don't post about it on the stories until after the occasion, after the event, or 24 hours later. Things like that. That's an interesting way of protecting yourself. But that, then through the sheer number of dating, socializing, chatting, talking, flirting, texting, communicating, refining the custom GPT, refining your messages, refining the feed, meaningful content, meaningful messages, meaningful DMs. Yeah, you could have a very, very social life and meet a lot of women. Very powerful, very scalable. That's the important thing. And if you combine it with your life in general, so you're meaningfully posting on there, then it kind of just becomes an extension. That's why I say it's like an address book, because this is like a diary. And because the diary, through your proactive DMing and or just the inertia of the content, the hashtags, things like that, it's getting more and more attention, more and more attraction. Yeah, it's quite possible, especially if you're proactive about it. It's quite nice. It's a nice little academic thought process, a nice little academic technique. Fun. I think it'll be pretty cool, very fun. It'll be a beautiful way to be very social. And you could just change the location and change the numbers to different cities. London. And just change 50%, 20% to that, 20 to 30. Things like that. The custom GPT especially is important, because then you could just find these different places to have hashtags and then get DMing. Vetting, looking, analysing, DMing. Get chatting. Wow, very fun. Very fun, very social. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's Daily Vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.